don't think you know anything about Harry Styles.
Our communities.
We'll talk about it again, so I told y'all so.
Our culture.
I am a Sam Smith. I will be Sam's representative.
Our stories.
It's also not a requirement for you to agree with our opinions.
This is the Culture Report.
All right, everyone. Welcome to this week's episode of the Culture Report. We have a whole lot to get into, so let's just get into it. So her name is likely one that you've heard in the past week after her disappearance gained national attention. Carlee Russell went missing Thursday, July 13th, after pulling off to the side of a road on an Alabama highway. She called police saying that she saw a toddler walking on the side of the road, and after calling 911, she called her mom. And during the call, Carlee's mother heard a scream, and then the line went silent. So police arrived minutes later and found Carlee's phone, wig, purse, and car still running. Late Saturday, Carlee returned home on foot and was later taken to the hospital to be examined. So shortly after she returned, the internet was quick to make their skepticism known, calling the whole ordeal a hoax or saying that she made it all up for clout, which is expected. It's very annoying because I'm like...
Is it expected, though?
It is expected. Anytime there's any sort of mystery like this, people act like these are real human beings. They act like it's a TV show, and it's not. This is real life.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I don't want to hear that. And plus, that hinders, like, I think that hinders search efforts, because, like, if everyone's saying, like, I think she's lying, maybe the police looking for her are like, oh, you know what, I think she's lying too. I'm checked out. Maybe I won't check in this bush.
Yeah.
Maybe I won't go look through those records. I just feel like it's silly. Like, these are people.
Yeah, I don't know. I went down that rabbit hole. I started looking at some of the TikTok videos, and yeah, people are coming left and right with, skeptical comments, and I just hope it's not, true that it's a lie. If, I'm not saying it is, but if it is, it's just so harming to people that really are missing. And this time it got national attention, kind of like you said.
Which is rare.
For black women, exactly.
Yeah, black women go missing all the time, and it does not get nearly as much attention. So, where's all this coming from? Like, I feel like anytime I see somebody else missing, I don't see this kind of energy.
But I think it was, as soon as she was found, people were like, oh, she was lying. As soon as she was found, the thoughts and prayers went, oh, she was lying. I take it back.
People that were sitting here like, oh, thoughts and prayers, I hope she makes it home safely. So she makes it home safely, then all of a sudden, oh, She just casually walked home. Wow.
But they're saying, but she didn't say she was kidnapped. Nowhere did she ever say that. This is just speculation. We're speculating she was kidnapped by someone. She never said that. She might have just ran away. Her parents might have been telling the police something completely different. She said her parents said that they heard her scream. I don't know. The parents could be the ones lying. She's not. She could be completely innocent.
We haven't heard from her. All she did was go missing. She didn't ask for this.
But what about the kid?
The kid. I know some people were saying, well, there wasn't a toddler, that was reported missing, but, with human trafficking and things like that, they could be getting kids from other countries,
exactly.
Or, we don't know if this kid was there, or I don't know, or where this kid came from, or if they use this kid as a lure all the time. I remember somebody just recently posted on Twitter saying they were driving on the street, and they saw, a stroller sitting on the side of the highway. They didn't know if it was just abandoned, or if it was people trying to, lure people in to get them out of the car so they could snatch them up.
You just don't know these days. That's the thing.
You don't know.
Yeah.
So stop trying to be Inspector Gadget. You are not the police. You're not an inspector. You're not a detective. Let the police do their work. And then, once you get the information, sure, think whatever you want. But, that's so harmful, especially for a black woman. I didn't see all this energy for who. What was the last thing that
Petito.
Gabby Petito.
Exactly.
Petito. Everyone was so invested in, I just can't believe, I can't believe. That I didn't get this energy.
Yeah. Again, remember the actor from Empire, Jesse
Smollett.
That one's a really bad, case, and I hope it doesn't turn into something like this where it was made up. Again, she hasn't said it, but the fact that everybody, the parents, thought that she was abducted.
Yeah.
Let's hope it turns out to,
Well, the police are coming out with a statement on Wednesday, so we'll see what happens, and I'm sure we'll talk about this again next week, whether it was a lie or if it's the truth, and kind of break that down again next week, too.
Yeah, because we're going to listen to the professionals, the detectives, not you.
Yeah. All right. So last week on the Culture Report, we talked about how music can have a positive impact on society. However, there are times when music can have a negative impact. One artist just released a new song with a questionable message to a specific group of people. Jason Aldean just released his new song, Try That in a Small Town, and some people are not happy about the lyrics or music video. Some saying the song promotes the message that the riots we saw during the Black Lives Matter rally in 2020 would not fly in a small rural town. Lyrics include, try that in a small town, see how far you'll make it down the road, around here we take care of our own. And the music video takes it a step further, showing images from the rally and Aldean in front of a courthouse where a black man was lynched in 1927. Aldean released a lengthy response after the backlash and said, in part, while I can try and respect others to have their own interpretation of a song with music, this one goes too far. Mr. Aldean, what do you mean we're taking it the wrong way?
I mean, that's what you say. You say you come around here, you getting shot. Like, I don't.
What does he mean? Like, we all saw the music video.
Yeah.
We know who he's directing this to.
And who was he talking about when he's like, they're going to come and round up our guns? Who is who?
Exactly. I have the lyrics right here. The lyrics say, got a gun that my granddaddy gave me. They say one day they're going to round up. Well, that bleep might not fly in the city. Good luck. Or
trying to take our guns away, which is so interesting because, like, I would think he would be a little more conscious and a little more sensitive to, like, things around gun violence, especially since he was, like, there was a mass shooting at his performance.
In Vegas, the biggest mass shooting in America to this day. And
you would think he would just be very conscious and very selective about what he chooses to put out into the world, especially when it comes to guns. So that was very...
It was very odd. And assuming that he, for whatever reason, missed the point, what happened at the courthouse, right?
Mm-hmm.
Somebody that was doing that music video had to do research as to where they're going to.
We were so quick to find exactly what happened at that courthouse.
Yeah, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. Maybe, just maybe, he didn't know the history of it. But still, somebody on the team, something. You're apparently trying to make a political statement with this, and you don't do any research as to where. I mean, we saw you had the flag strung up high on top of the courthouse. It sounds like this is a place that was significant, and you really wanted to have your music video. So whether it was intentional or not, like, you still have to deal with, like, the outcome. And in the video, like,
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, he was talking about, like, he was saying about, like, fighting, punching old ladies and spitting in the face of police and all this stuff. And I'm like, I feel that's what you're going to reduce protesting down to. Like, these people are obviously out here fighting for something that really matters.
But he says in the song, like, we protect our own. What do you think those people are doing?
Exactly. That's what we're doing. And now, granted, we aren't out here, like, supporting, like, looting of businesses and things like that. I think that's silly, too.
Yeah.
He did have some looters in there, tearing down businesses, breaking glass, which I think is ridiculous.
But that's not all the Black Lives Matter rallies were.
It wasn't. So I'm like,
so you're showing the bad stuff, sir.
You're highlighting all the bad stuff, which, I mean, I remember during the protests and things, like, I remember a lot of the time it was people, like, not us. It wasn't black people out here looting businesses and, like, setting cars on fire. It was people that considered themselves allies, and then we got the bad rap for it.
It's so dangerous to combine that protesting with violence. I mean, when you're fighting for something, it's okay to do peaceful protesting, but linking them together like he does in this song.
You should have included the Capitol, right?
Exactly.
If you wanted to show violence and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That part, though.
Yeah.
I mean, it's true. Don't just show one group of people and then say it doesn't apply to them. Yes, it does, if you're going to show what happened during that, like, just the bad stuff that happened during that rally.
Yeah, and in previous shows, we've talked about how so many artists are using their platforms to spread, like, unifying messages or just ways to promote, healthy ways to, interact with people, different races. And then you have this guy, like, making these small towns, like, seem scary. Like, why would you want to go in there? Not inviting, at least.
And we're listening to the song, unfortunately.
I did a little research, said that Jason wasn't even from a small town.
He's from Macon, Georgia, with 100,000 people.
A Texas trooper medic is blowing the whistle on some inhumane things going on at the border. So according to a letter shared with the Texas Department of Public Safety, troopers have been told to push migrants back into the water in order to deny them drinking water. Now, this is as Texas is experiencing a major heat wave. Like, I mean, over 100, over 110 every day. So the email is a report of weekly events and operational concerns from June 24th to July 1st, while the officer worked as a trooper medic. Now, the Office of the Inspector General is investigating the incident, and I mean,
This is awful.
I'm not surprised. I mean,
Doesn't surprise me one bit, but it's unfortunate.
I'm sure there's more going on, like in the fact that it took this long for somebody to speak out and say, hey, they're asking us to do this, which is, like, I feel like we're forgetting these are people. Like,
No.
I get you don't agree with what they're doing, and, like, there may be, like, an issue down there, a big issue down there, but, like, that's not how you handle it.
You should still prioritize life. I still
Right.
think you should do that. And I don't think these state officials have the right to enforce, federal officials, like, part in actually enforcing immigration laws. At this point, with Abbott sending out, I believe it's the Lone Star group that's actually, pushing these people out, or as they claim in the investigation that they're throwing them back into the river and, sending kids back. It shouldn't be him who determines whether or not, they should be deported or sent back. That should not be under his control.
My big problem with this is that everyone says they care about children so much, and there's so many children dying. From what I've read, like, there's at least like 50 children or so that have died. They're getting pushed into the water, they're drowning. There's mothers being pushed with their kids. Like, why? Like, I don't understand. You guys care about children, but when it comes to this type of stuff, you don't.
I mean, these are people trying to give their children a better life coming over here. So, like I said, they may not be going about it the right way, but they're still people.
And reading, like, how they have the wires and all these, things that they're using to block people. I mean, it's inhumane. There's got to be other ways to do it, but people are going to extremes. I don't know if lighting them up so, like, people know that they're going to run into that and not, die when they get to all these barbed wires that are along the river. It's very scary once, you start reading into it, and I hope they really aren't, like, not giving them water and,
pushing them back and making them drown into the water. Like, that's sad. It's awful.
Yeah, especially with all the extreme heat.
In the face of book bans and classroom restrictions, educators across the country are scared and unsure about what they can and cannot say in a school. A National Rand survey found that many teachers are, quote, walking on eggshells in response to restrictions on race or gender-related topics, or in any other topics that appear controversial. As more states pass laws imposing teaching restrictions on these topics, educators are feeling the pressure from parents and administrators, and some have even faced disciplinary action for speaking out on controversial issues in their schools. In Wisconsin, Melissa Temple, a teacher who criticized the decision to ban the Miley Cyrus and Dolly Parton song Rainbow Land at a school concert, was fired. In Colorado, Kurt Dennis, a principal at DPS's largest middle school, was fired after he expressed safety concerns in his school. And in New Mexico, House Republicans put together a consent form that aims to notify parents when a topic like gender identity and gender-affirming care is talked about in the classroom. It comes after a newly passed law protecting gender-affirming care and reproductive health.
It's hard to be a teacher these days.
I can't imagine. I mean, they're already having a shortage of teachers because of, low pay and burnout. I'm sure this isn't going to help keep them in schools. I mean, I'd be so scared to be in that industry.
I know. And this is weird. This is different from, like, I'm about to sound old. Back in my day when I was in school, like, we'd be learning about all kinds of stuff, things that were not on the curriculum, because people had questions. Like, we're kids, we're curious, we want to learn about things. And if anything, the teacher would be like, I don't know, let's Google it. And then we'd Google it, and the whole class would learn something, and they'd send you away. Today, you learn something new. And so it's so odd that, like, they can't, I feel like, I mean, of course, there are certain things you should probably, like, run through, like, a manager or parents or something, but like for little things like that.
But you don't even know. That's the Washington Post reporter that followed this story talked about the fact that teachers are confused. There's overall confusion because anything that just surrounds, gender and race, they have to be so careful. I mean, if they're confused, how do you know if it's going to get you fired? How do you know if talking about a song or mentioning like a book?
Yeah, I know there's a teacher in Georgia that was recently fired. She bought a book from the school book fair. She read it to her class. It was about self-acceptance, got fired. She bought it from the book fair at the school. Like, I don't understand about self-acceptance and accepting others just the way they are. What is the problem? And she questioned the district, and they still didn't have a response for her, like on why. They didn't have like details on the policy that they put out there.
And Rainbow Land, what is wrong with the song?
I don't know. I wish I knew. I read the lyrics. I didn't see one thing bad about it.
Yeah.
It's about loving other people and loving yourself. I just don't understand what's so hurtful or harmful about that.
It's the gay agenda, apparently. We're trying to indoctrinate their children with, I don't know, queerness. I have no idea. I'm so confused by it. No one's out here like begging these kids to be queer or anything.
No.
Just like accepting the people around you. That's not hard to do. It's not like they should be learning at a young age just to accept the people around you for who they are. That should be taught in school, in my opinion. But if you guys want to make everyone hate each other, then I guess that's what you're doing. It's clearly that's what America's doing right now.
What about it, like, as a teacher? She took it to her, like, own Twitter to post about the fact that she didn't, that her school wasn't going to let her play that at the school concert. I mean, could we get in trouble for stuff that we imposed? Where do you draw a line?
I don't know. We can get in trouble for anything. I don't.
I mean, it should be your right to express if something's...
Absolutely, especially teachers. That's those are people that you don't want to silence. Because I'm like, then what's the limit? Like, then maybe they don't want to speak out about anything. Because like the teacher in Denver, he spoke out. I believe it was about like pat downs or like like guns. So I'm like, you want teachers to speak out about issues and things that are going on in the school and in the classroom. Like, you want that transparency. So you're going to fire me just for my transparency, just for me letting parents and the community know what's going on behind the school doors? Like,
what's concerning you at your own school? You should be able to do that.
You don't want teachers out here keeping secrets. Well, not over like, things that matter, important things.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think, again, this should be a safe space for students and the sport teachers. I mean, they're fighting between keeping their jobs and, answering these kids' questions.
Absolutely. All right, so women are constantly told how their bodies should look. If we don't have the perfect figure, we're not considered beautiful to some, which can oftentimes have a negative impact on how we view ourselves. Singer Bebe Rexha shared alleged text messages from her ex-boyfriend that said she gained weight. In the alleged text messages, he tells her, quote, "You gained 35 pounds, obviously you gain weight, and your face changes. Should I just pretend it didn't happen and it's okay?" And if you don't know, in the last few months, Rexha has been very candid about hateful messages that she's received on the internet about her weight. She told fans, quote, "Human beings go through weight fluctuations. It's life, and you don't know what people are going through."
And we now know what caused the death of Lisa Marie Presley. An autopsy report showed that the daughter of Elvis Presley died from complications of a small bowel obstruction tied to bariatric or weight loss surgery that she had several years ago. The 54-year-old singer-songwriter was rushed to a Los Angeles area hospital on January 12th after being found unresponsive at home. She died hours later. Let's start with Rexha.
I know Jamal has something to say.
I love Bebe Rexha. What do you mean? I love Bebe. But what she was trying to do with that text message, I agree. I mean, like, if you're with me and I don't know if I just need context. I don't know if like sometime in the relationship she was like, let me know if I let myself go, like, be transparent. I don't know, maybe. But even still, of course, like, if you're with somebody, of course you should be able to accept them no matter how their body looks. Of course your body's going to change over time. So that you shouldn't be like critiquing them that way. However, when he was also saying like, I would gain 3 pounds and you'd be calling me chubby and this and that. And he didn't really say anything crazy. He still said, like, of course I still think you're beautiful. And I don't know. I'm not going to shut up because I'm a man.
Yeah, I still think it's different when you criticize men and women about weight. I think it's more harmful still for women.
Absolutely.
But I just don't think we should be talking about people's weights. And to your point about the context, I think the text message was a lot longer and we only saw part of it. I just, as a society, we should not be talking about people's weight. Like she said, we don't know what people are going through. Mm-hmm.
I know Selena Gomez, people would always, when she gained a little bit of weight, but she was on medication for Lyme. What does she have? I forget what disease she has, but she has a disease, and that's why she gained so much weight. And people were, always being like, oh, she gained so much weight, blah, 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 and judging her appearance. And she was like, I'm on medication. Like, why are you judging me? Like, there's nothing I can do about that.
And this continued pressure to be thin. I mean, it's so scary. Once I saw what happened to Lisa Marie, it's scary to think of the extremes that we'll go through to be that way, to be whatever is, America's ideal body of a woman should be.
You see so many celebrities on that Ozempic, you know? There's so many. I've seen so like an art. I don't watch the Real Housewives of whatever, but there's so many Real Housewives coming out being like, "Yep, that's what I'm taking. That's why I look so good." I'm like, is that healthy? Like,
I mean, so good. I mean, like, any body shape, any body type can look good.
Yeah.
And let me say now, because I won't be able to correct myself later, but no, Bebe, her man did say something I did not agree with, was when he was like, "You're just gaining all this weight, and I'm like, and I'm supposed to just sit here like it's okay." Like, yes, it's okay. Of course. Like I said, it's okay. Like, we're supposed to embrace all bodies. I mean, she's on stage performing every day. My girl is fit.
Yep.
Like, I mean, her body's just, you know, on that journey.
Yep.
So let her do her thing. Don't try her. We love you, Bebe.
let us have our lives, man.
Beauty is subjective.
Yes.
guys.
All right. We are finally seeing who will be the first ever senior bachelor. 71-year-old Gary Turner will lead the Bachelor spinoff show that will air this fall on ABC. And if you're wondering why a 71-year-old man would do a show like this, Turner said, quote, "It's never too late to fall in love again. The lucky ladies competing for Turner's heart have not yet been revealed."
I can't wait to see The Bachelorette.
I'm so excited.
You guys have not watched it.
I've never watched The Bachelor a day in my life, but I will be tuning into this one because I don't know. I feel like it's just a whole different vibe. Like, I feel like this, like The Bachelor that's on now, like, I don't know. It's just an assumption. I just feel like it's a bunch of clout chasers that want to be on
It is.
TV.
Fame.
That's all it is. Let's be honest. I watched it. They all are like 22 years old. What do you want to do getting married at 22 years
You
old?
don't know what you want at that point.
Did you even graduate college yet?
Right. I feel like this will be like a whole different vibe. It's different people, different point in their life. Like, they're over all that. They just want to. I love to just see how they interact and like what they prioritize. Like, you know.
Yeah. And you know they're there for that least for the right reason. I mean, they're probably in their 60s and 70s, maybe even their 80s.
Granted, people 60, 70, and 8 can still be wanting clout. Like he said, it's never too late. Maybe it's never too late to chase that fame, chase the
Get
bag.
that
I mean, I loved watching him. After I saw like what he was saying, I did, you know, it makes me want to watch it. So for sure, tune in.
We'll be tuning in.
All right, let's go ahead and hop into our good news of the week. We are seeing some Latino representation at this year's Emmy nominations. Jenna Ortega and Pedro Pascal are making history by being nominated for their lead actor nomination. Pedro is now the most nominated Latino actor in a single year to be nominated, and Jenna is the second youngest person to be nominated in the lead actress category.
And for the first time ever, a Latina will lead the largest and most diverse four-year university system in the country. The California State University system has selected Mildred Garcia, who is from Puerto Rico and a longtime higher education leader, to be its 11th chancellor. She will begin her tenure as chancellor in October.
Right, and a team of professional vets is traveling the country to give kids a hand-on experience that they might not get otherwise. So this week they made a stop in Denver. The Critter Fixers make these trips to promote the profession and focus on students of color. BIPOC people actually make up less than 10% of all vets in the U.S. So I feel like it's really cool, and like it hits different to learn about something that you might be interested in from somebody that looks like you, that has a similar life experience as you. So very iconic.
Love it. I think that's so great.
I know. All right, thank you guys for joining this week's Culture Report. Barbie comes out this weekend. Please go